What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. It's Chris here, Better Investing. Today is February 2026. Let's talk about the market. All right. Looking at SPY, had OPEX today, right? You kind of see, some elevated volume today. You see some wonky shit around OPEX, man. This is why I was like, man, I'm not even going to really trade today, and I really didn't. I took a few trades, but not the typical type of trades where I was like, I wasn't really looking to like hit shit. I had a fantastic week, off to a crazy start to the year. Great month. Literally, the last 8 weeks has been good for me. And man, I don't want to be too cocky, right? So I kind of took it really really chill today. And I was just kind of monitoring things. But I kind of mentioned that today was setting up for a potential news failure. And you might can't see that on SPY, so I'm gonna go to QQQ, and you probably see a little bit better on QQQ. And the reason why I said this is because you know, the thing was that we had got the news this morning about the GDP, and Trump had mentioned it, mentioned it, about 30 minutes before the fucking econ report, the economics report even came out. And the GDP number, no miss, right? Probably throwing out some fears of recession, whatever, right? And you saw it in the price action where we just don't, right? And you got to think the market, the sentiment has been very, very, very bearish for the most part. I would say definitely looking at IGV and shit like that. And I said, man, if we undercut yesterday lows and we start to go higher, this might be a ripper. And it was a ripper, but man, it was volatile as fuck. It was volatile as hell. But I think this was probably one of your best trades today. But you had to be quick. You have to be quick. You have to have that thesis in mind that this is an undercut and this is a potential news failure. You have to go. Right, and it didn't lead to nothing crazy on QQQ unless you were probably playing zero DTEs or whatever. But if you were positioning into some stocks, you're like, man, I'm going to buy this undercut on a particular stock. Maybe, you might have got something like, look at SNDK, straight ripper from the door. But this never undercut it to prior day lows. But yeah, I think that was the big thing, and I think a lot of newer traders like you gotta have some skin in this game, right? You gotta get cut a few times to kind of have this understanding kind of bleed into your mental, into your medellin, or whatever the word I'm trying to say. You gotta go through it a couple of times to understand where I'm coming from, right? You gotta go through a few cycles of trading to really understand that. But I think that was probably one of your best thoughts here, is that, man, don't be looking bearish here off this news, thinking that we're going to get more continuation off of an economic event, when the market is already down. Some people say, I don't think the market has priced something in, but the market always knows. And if you don't think so, go back and check, right? Just go back and check. A lot of times you see it in the charts before you hear it in the news. You saw it in the charts before COVID. You saw it in the charts before 9/11. All right, you saw it in the charts before the banking crisis. Like there's so many times where I'm not saying it's 100%, right? But there's so many times that the market is already forward looking and already pricing in whatever you're thinking about, thinking that you're ahead of the curve. A lot of times you're not, right? You got to think this is big money. You think they don't know that the fucking GDP numbers are going to come in bad? You don't think they can consolidate other reports to kind of get an idea where GDP is, right? One report, is not really going to change shit. Um, but yeah, I think that was probably the best probably opportunity today. I mean, here was those stocks I was looking at. I tried ONDS later in the day. I kind of show you. I got in somewhere around here. Like no, I got in as it was getting close to reclaim the EMA 9. I'll show you here. It was getting close to reclaim the EMA 9. I got it like right here. I said I'm just gonna risk low a day. And I think my low day was actually even under one. I think it was like 988 or something. I was like, I'm not going to risk 10 because, of course, I get swiped. But towards the end of the day, I see where it's at, and I see where I just cut it. Yeah, I just took the loss. There's no reason to kind of swing this overnight and over the weekend, and this gaps down, right? I don't have any room to kind of exhaust the gap down, right? If it was all the way up here and it gaps down, well, there's a chance that I could lighten the blow. But if I'm already below my cost basis and it hasn't gained anything, I'll just cut it and I'll look at it again on Monday or whatever. But actually, I won't be trading on Monday. I'm actually in the office Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But yeah. Really quick. Let's just go over the market real fast. Again, I'm not gonna be here for a long time. Let's look at it. So, bullish engulfing candle. I don't know how much you put to this, be considering this OPEX, but definitely a bullish engulfing candle. I know, engulfing the opening and the close, the high, not the low, but yeah, bullish engulfing candle. Really, just again towards the top of this chop zone. I just want to get away from this. I just want to get away from this, right? I really just want to get away from this, but I mean that's what you got there. QQQ, another bullish engulfing candle, still below the 9, above the 9, below the 20, 150. Really, I mean, for QQQ to kind of get going, I kind of want to kind of see it like take out like this area right here. Right, that's where I really want to see it kind of get going. But nothing really has changed there. IWM really quick. IWM, not really doing much here. I mean, market really hasn't done much. Dow Jones, BTC, USD. Let's go look at Coinbase one. Um, Nothing here. I mean, nothing has really changed. I mean, again, I had some stocks that I'm watching. I think this is a good watch list. I mean, some of them have pulled back. And I think it was funny because I was looking at this on DS. I'm like, man, do I want to buy this? Do I want to buy this when it's down 9%? I was actually thinking about that when I was up when I got it, and I was like, man, this thing's down 9%. Really, I don't know if I want to buy the weakness. I want to buy the strength after the weakness, and I think that's probably what I'm going to look for on maybe this and maybe this, maybe we. I don't know. But that's what I'm kind of looking for. I, I was hoping I'd get it today, but looking at when I add it and everything, not really. This BMNR, man, god damn, I tried to trade this here, and it definitely stopped me out, and then this climbs, and it's just fucking ripping. Couple other stock, but yeah, man, I think that's really all I have to talk about. No, I mean nothing's too crazy. Um, don't really see anything that's like really slappable. I think you just follow some of the stronger stocks that are out there, and get away from like your main focus being options and index trading. Like it's really a waste of time. To kind of focus there. And the reason why I say that, like just work on like building up your account and like work on like focusing on shares. Like, and the reason why I say that, for example, right, I can buy 100 shares of Tesla, right, and risk $2, right, and I'm risking $200, right, and you can go in with your zero DTEs, and I'm not saying I've got cut before, and this is why I'm saying it. You can go in with your zero DTEs, buy 4 contracts for $200, and they're down $50 a contract, and the stock has only moved 75 cents. Not even 75 cents, probably 50 cents, right? And you're down $200 as well, right? And that's the big difference. That's the big difference. I could lose 200 and only the stock moved $1, right? Or $2, for example. And you can lose $200 and the stock only moves 75 cents fucking around with zero DTEs. So I think for a lot of people, I think it's best to kind of get away from zero DTEs. And, I played in them, right? I traded them well, I traded them bad. And, the good times are good and the bad times are bad. And what I found was that, man, when I was trading them, like, man, my account was more of a fucking yo-yo. I get good months, I get good weeks, but trying to trade those over and over again, man, eventually they'll get you. They'll get you, right? They just do. Definitely on a fucking day like today, like if you didn't really kind of see like us being up in that chop period, from prior Wednesday, and you kind of like took a stab up there. It really wasn't no other trade besides the bounce at the red to green spot. I mean, that was really about it. Everything else, I mean, it probably fucking wicked you out. I mean, that was probably the 2 best trades of the day prior to, you trying to be a part of the news failure event. So, and that's just looking at SPY and QQQ. I wonder what fucking IWM look like on a day. Let's see here on IWM on a 5-minute. Jesus Christ, this is fucking horrible. Like trying to play this shit right here. You gotta think, like you're just getting stopped out left and right. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. Again. have an issue with trying to figure out if we have a trend or not, just look at that. Crisscross applesauce, right? No respect of the VWAP to the downside, right? No respect once it's climbing up. Just chop it. Just it's fucking horrible, and that's why I say like they focus on stocks. You know, yeah you can dabble here and there, right? But just if you're gonna dabble, do it later in the day, like when you kind of have a direction, right? That trying to figure it out early on and shit. Like, no, I'm not a big fan of it. But yeah. Uh, that's about it, man. I think it's a early day for me on this recap. I'll probably take a look at some stuff over the weekend. I do have to prep for work next week. Get ready for for my walkthroughs for work. Yeah, I'm out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Unless it snows on Monday, I'm fucking not going in. I'm taking that shit remote. But yeah, I won't be heavily in the market. But no, great week, great month. Um, Again, respect risk, stop out early. Doing so allows you to get back in. Not doing so, you're just going to be scared to get back in when opportunity presents itself. Peace. God bless.